Yo, what up guys? Welcome back to Sneaker Stories. As always, I'm your host Cactus Jack. Today, obviously quite an exciting one over here. We've got two of the most hyped releases for 2020, namely the Ben & Jerry's Nike SB Low Pro and of course the Cactus Jack Travis Scott Dunk Lows as well. So in today's review, we're going to be doing a quick comparison and review of each one of these pairs for you guys here today. So without further ado, let's check them out. Alright, so before we get started on things, just a huge shout out to Cape Kicks for supplying us these pairs here today for the review. Of course, these are both pairs that I've wanted desperately in my collection for some time. Took L's on them, both on the Sneakers app and internationally in other places that I tried. They're still on the cop list, but just haven't been able to make that work just yet. But the one nice thing about getting them here in the room is I really get to check them out up close and personal and really decide if they are worth the money. And hopefully this review will let you know that as well if you are also thinking about getting a pair. Now I'm going to start off with the Ben & Jerry's Chunky Dunky. Now this is a shoe that I was not convinced was really going to be a good buy, even at the crazy amount of money that they're going for, simply because of the fact that I didn't think it was going to be a very wearable pair, and really to justify that kind of money on any kind of resale, if you don't really know what I'm talking about, these things are going between $1,500 and $2,000 depending on size. But in my opinion, if you are going to be spending that kind of money on a shoe on resale or whatever it is, you definitely are going to want to wear them, or at least that's how I would like to do it. And I got to be honest, having these in hand now, I hope it's not just the hype and the excitement of having them, but I do actually still think I'd probably rock this pair quite a lot. Just something nice for summer with shorts or whatever it is. I don't know, these things are just absolutely banging in hand. Like, oh, detail wise, everything on them unbelievable. But let's get into them themselves. Now obviously this is a collaboration between Nike SB and Ben & Jerry's. The original inspiration for this particular pair is straight from the Chunky Monkey flavor, which you guys can see there, and you can really just see how well that has been translated into the design and material mix-up on this pair. I'm going to start with the outsole of the shoe. You've got this dark sort of foresty green with a highlighted kind of Lumo limey green there with the Nike SB logo in the middle, and then flipping into the midsole, they've kept that pretty crispy white with white stitching throughout that as well. And then obviously into the upper, man, this is where things get absolutely wild on this pair. The majority of the upper panels are done in this sort of cowhide or synthetic cowhide material. No two pairs are the same. Even between both of these pairs, you can see how the patterning is completely unique to this particular pair, and even on the other pairs that I have seen online, it's all been pretty radically different in terms of its placement of that cow print. And moving into the toe box, they've kept that completely this light blue color here. You do have the perforations all pretty much standard on this particular model of shoe. Now the quality present on this particular pair, if you consider that it was a $100 shoe, pretty hard to believe when they're reselling for 2,000% more than that, isn't the greatest. Like, I'll just put that out there. Like, it's definitely worth it at a $100 shoe, but maybe at $2,000, you really gotta like them. But moving on to the side of the shoe, obviously the most standout feature here is this melted sort of ice cream look swoosh that they've done in this beautiful yellow, which basically overlays this mid panel over here, which highlights the sky and the different rolling heels that are present in the packaging of that Chunky Monkey ice cream. One thing to note with this mid panel, it is just a sort of sublimated print on there, so the quality isn't amazing or anything like that, but damn, it certainly looks good. Continuing further back the shoe, you've got more of this cowhide overlay, which is backed by this beautiful sky blue coloring all the way along the collar section of the shoe, and then into the heel, another awesome detail over here. You've got those beautiful clouds which have been accentuated by this beautiful white stitching just outlining the edges of that, and just above that the Nike logo done in a yellow embroidered in the Ben & Jerry's font. And then just to show you the medial side of the shoe, pretty much the same as the lateral side. Obviously the same details with the swoosh there, no color change ups or anything like that. From a lacing perspective, they do provide you with one set of flat white SB laces. They are that sort of thicker kind of flat lace that do come with the shoes. However, if you do want to add a little bit more pop of color, there are two other sets of laces provided. The first is a set of yellow laces matching up with the swoosh color, and then the second is a set of forest green laces which pretty much match up with the outsole coloring of the shoe. Both of these just come like this. They aren't in any like Nike SB bags or anything like that, and they just dangle as they are. Making our way to the top of the tongue, you do have the Nike SB and Chunky Dunky branding. Obviously Chunky Dunky, the naming of this particular pair, and that's also done in the Ben & Jerry's font in a yellow embroidery on a black base. And then just flipping around to the reverse of that, this is one of the coolest little features on here. You've got the Ben & Jerry's logo, which has also been embroidered in there with their slogan, "If it's not fun, why do it?" I 100% agree with that. And while we're on the back section of the tongue, you'll notice there's a tie-dye print that's going on there, and that follows through onto the entire sock liner section of the shoe itself. And then from an insole perspective, that same graphic runs through onto there as well. On the reverse side of the insole, you've got an extra foam padded section here in the forefoot, and then in the heel section, a Zoom Air unit. And last but not least, as this is a pro model of the Nike Dunk Low, you do have extra padding here in the heel section, just making it a little bit more comfortable for your ride on foot. And very quickly, just the box. This is the rainbow color SB box, which you've got hits of green, blue, red, and yellow, of course, with the Nike SB logo done in white. Just inside the box, you've got the standard sort of wax paper that these SBs have come with, and then just the size tag over here. This says just Nike SB Dunk Low Pro Quick Strike, and then the official coloring on the box is white and university gold. Now, from a size perspective, this sadly is not my size, so I can't give you an honest opinion on that. However, many other reviews of this particular pair would suggest taking a half size up, or even true to size with this particular one, as there is a little bit less padding going on in the tongue over here when compared to usual models. If you do want to get a pair of these, you are going to have to look to the resale market, of course, as these things are long time sold out. And as many people have said now, this is definitely a strong contender for sneaker of the year. So I can only imagine prices keeping on climbing. So if you do want to get in, probably get in quite soon, or maybe try get lucky on a steal if you can. But overall, yeah, it's a hell of a lot of money to spend on this particular pair, especially with the quality. But this is really a collector's item. It's really something exciting. It's a beautiful collaboration. It's pretty much everything a collaboration should be, in my opinion, and they've absolutely nailed it. All right, so another strong contender for shoe of the year, and this particular one, from a quality perspective, I can say straight off the bat, is unbelievable. They really have put a lot of premium nature and materials into this particular shoe. The design of it, everything about it is super eye-catching to me. It is certainly a shoe that I would like to add to my own collection. As usual, we're going to start with the outsole. This is done in a light sort of sand tanny color, standard Nike SB outsole on this particular pair, and then moving into the midsole, it's done in kind of an off-whitey sail creamy color, and then into the upper of the shoe, this is where things are super premium in my opinion. The swoosh on the lateral side is done in a very nice sort of nubuck suede over there in a black, and then recessed just behind that in most of the panels here in the toe box and heel section of the shoe is this paisley print, which is done in a dark navy. This is a pretty awesome detail, as it kind of like a bandana effect going on here, and again, as this is a print on an overlay material, each individual pair is going to be slightly different. The nice thing about the material overlay, as some of you guys might have seen by now, is that it's a tearaway fabric, so if you do skate in these and scuff them up in the toe box section or wherever on the shoe, they might start to tear away, and they'll reveal a whole new colorway underneath that, which is kind of like an extended elephant print done on a brown backing. Now set just behind that swoosh in that mid panel over there, you've got kind of like a tartany kind of print of some kind of nature, which is done in these browns, navies, and creams, which really ties in to the rest of the shoe. Now swinging into the toe box section of the shoe, this is a very short hair suede. It is incredibly buttery on here. It's actually just unbelievably beautiful. That continues up into the tongue section, which is the same material. I mean, just touching these is incredible. Like, you can feel the premium vibes going on with this particular one. At the top of the tongue, you do have a stitched in Cactus Jack logo, which is done on a dark and light brown surface. And then on the reverse of the tongue, you've got this light sort of brown mesh, which obviously continues into the sock liner and heel section of the shoe. And swinging around into the heel section of the shoe, you've got the Nike logo, which has been embroidered in a very light pink on this beautiful brown suede overlay. Just below that, you've got that standard sort of stitched ribbing. And then you've also, on this particular panel, got some Cactus Jack Records insignia, that kind of Russian print, which has been debossed into that tan suede panel. Now from a lacing perspective, they have gone with something pretty unique on this pair, which really stands out as kind of a trait of this particular pair. It's obviously these rope laces which have been intertwined together to create quite a fat surface on the laces. If those are a little bit too hectic for you, as they do bunch up in some of them, as you can see on this particular pair at the bottom, it's kind of twisted itself in there, and that's just how they've come. If that's too much for you, then they obviously provide you with two other sets of laces which come in a branded Nike SB bag. This one is a dark sort of black pair, and this one a light pink, just to tie in with the rest of the coloration of the shoe. And talking about those light pink laces, when you switch to the medial side of the shoe, you'll notice the swoosh is also done in that color. Just above that, you've got more of that debossed insignia of Cactus Jack branding, of course. Now flipping out the insole for you, this is done in a light brown with a paisley print all over it. That is on both insoles, of course, with the Nike SB logo and the Cactus Jack logo both represented on that. And then just flipping into the underside, you've got that Zoom Air unit and an extra foam padded section here in the forefoot of the insole. And last but not least, just to show you the box as well, this is also the rainbow box as I've showed you with the chunky dunks. However, one difference, you do get this bandana sort of paisley effect wax paper with the particular pair, so just tying in to the rest of the design of the shoe. So overall speaking, in my opinion, you are getting a shoe which I think is a little bit more wearable in terms of how many wearable occasions you might have with this particular pair than you would with the Chunky Dunky. However, this one just feels like it's a more special collaboration to have as a collector's item. Quality wise, this absolutely trumps the Chunky Dunkies by far from a material perspective. It's a very difficult decision of which one I particularly like the most, so maybe I'll just have to get both of them one day when I win the lotto, because these things, as mentioned, are absolutely ridiculously expensive now, and I definitely, as it stands, can't afford to get both of them. So yep, it's a pretty tough choice of which one to go for if you're in the same sort of predicament that I've been in. But either way, if you've got the money to spend on resale on these, or potentially there's a restock one day and you manage to get lucky, then you know what, I don't think you can go wrong with either. But that's it for this review and kind of comparison. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I would love to know what you guys think of either of these shoes in the comment section below. Let me know which is your favorite of the two if you had the choice to be able to pick up one. And once again, just a huge thanks to Cape Kicks for hooking us up with these pairs to take a look at here for you guys today. If you have any further questions, please drop them in the comment section below. And as always, if you haven't already, please give the video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe right here for more reviews, sneaker related content and early unboxings coming down the line. But that's it from me. I'll catch you on the next one.